make it. He basically had an air of like giving up on me, like he wanted to give up. And I actually mentioned this in my book. And I mentioned this to, and I told him that. And then my brother was actually really annoyed when he heard that. And he said, oh, I'm going to go have a word with him and tell him not to be so insensitive. And when he told the male nurse was really shocked. He said, I had no idea she could hear me. And he came in and he apologized profusely. So they were all really, really surprised. But then what happened is that they then started to tell me, okay, we're going to have to start treating you and taking tests to see the progress of your cancer. And we're going to wait till you're a little bit stronger because your body is really, really weak. And so within about 4 days, though, I had wanted them to, I was, on oxygen. Actually, within 2 days, I was telling them, I don't need this oxygen. It's getting in the way, So I was like taking it off. And so they tested my breathing and they said, it's okay, we can take it off. Then I told them I want to take out the food tube because I had a food tube down my throat so they could feed food directly. I said, it's really uncomfortable. It's scratching my throat. I want to eat some real food like ice cream. And so they reluctantly took that out. But I started to have a little bit of recollection. Interestingly, I was still quite confused, and I started to realize something had happened, and I started to understand why I was feeling euphoric, because I was feeling really euphoric, and at first I didn't understand why. And I was telling my family that I know I'm going to be okay. Why is everybody so worried? It's going to be fine. I'm really going to be okay. But everybody was being really cautious. But by the 4th day, the doctor actually said that my tumors had shrunk by 60 or 70% just to the touch, just by touching my neck. I still had the open skin lesions, so I had bandages and all. But because I was like really euphoric and the swelling had gone down and the tumors had gone down, and I wanted to sit up and I wanted to listen to music because I love music. And I told my husband, could you please bring me my iPod? I really want to listen to music. And so he connected my iPod, and I couldn't put the earphones in because of all the tubes and wires, and I had some bandages. So he connected up little speakers, and so I was listening to dance music. And I was having my husband, brother, mother visiting me all the time. And in the end, the other patients, because I was in an intensive care unit, the other patients started complaining about me. And their families started complaining about me, saying that, what is this woman doing in here? Because people here are really sick. They're dying.
Wow.
So the doctor had to, he moved me out of intensive care by the 4th day and into a regular room. And then my healing was just really, really rapid after that. And they did what they call a biopsy of the spine, where they take out the fluid from the spine, which is really, really painful. And when they did that operation, they didn't find any cancer in the spine, and then they did a lymph node biopsy, and they didn't find any cancer in the lymph node, and they just kept poking and looking for cancer because they didn't believe it was gone.
And for you, so you had this like invincible, I'm back, nothing can stop me type of way of, there's just, you were living life again so fast, so rapidly. So everybody must have been so surprised, and what a change that creates in one's life. Did you start to have immediate conversations with other people and about this experience and with doctors? And oh my God, I have hundreds of questions now.
Okay, I love answering questions. It took me a little while to unravel it because I was quite confused. When people were shocked by what had happened, my own doctor, oncologist who treated me, he made the gesture of throwing my file, my medical file, in the bin, he actually said to me, I don't know what to write in your medical file. And he made the gesture of as though pretending to throw it in the dustbin. He said, I really don't know. I don't even know what to make of you. That's what he said to me. And I went through a phase of being a little bit confused after that, of not knowing what to make of it, what happened. I really didn't know, because I didn't know, like, was it my higher self? What is it? Like, is it God? What is it? And for me, like, these beliefs like that, like, for me, if I use the term God, I can say it was God, but God has no form. God is formless. The minute you put form on God, again, you've put limitations. There is no such limitation. So I didn't have a complete understanding of what to attribute it to, but I knew that something big had happened. Something really, really huge had happened. And I had connected to something, and I knew I'd connected to something, and that something that I connected to made me feel as if I was that something in that state. When I was without my body, I was also part of that something. I was everything. I was invincible. And I was connected to every body and every living thing. It was like I became everything. I became the universe in that state.
So you start realizing that you had the universe inside of you.
Yeah, you have the universe inside of you.
And we all do.
And we all do. We all do. We are all it feels as though we are all at the center of the universe. And when we find that place, that center place, when you find that center place of the universe, and that's what to me, meaning getting centered to me means finding your place at the center of the universe. And it's when you find that place that you can start allowing everything that is truly yours to enter into your life. And everything that you get, like all the amazing things that can happen to you, they're truly yours. When you're at that center place, that's when you can just allow them to come in. So it's not about pursuing, because the minute we talk about pursuing something or going after something, the fact that you feel you need to go after it means you don't really think it's yours in the first place. But when you're at that centered place, then everything that is yours just comes to you. You just have to allow it. And that's kind of what I discovered.
Yeah, this is very different than how most of us have been brought up, and I guess how you've been brought up. So now, how do we really create our reality? Is there really anything for us to do, or just relax in this place, knowing that all is well?
In many ways, it's the latter. It's about really relaxing, and the journey to creating our reality is, to me, is the same as the journey to discovering ourself. Because the more you know who you really are, the more you will allow that which is truly yours to come into your life. Because once you know that you are an amazing, magnificent being that is worthy and deserving of everything that you desire, once you know that you are worthy and you deserve love, unconditional love, in the way that you desire it, you only have to realize it and allow it in. Because we seem to believe that we have to compete. It's like, oh, how can everybody's desires be fulfilled? It's like, how can you get what you want and I get what you want? There isn't enough to go around. But we're all different. What you want is different from what I want. And the universe needs all of us. The reason why we are the way we are is, we are all facets of the universe. We've come here to express who we are. You've come here to be the beautiful Lilu Mace, and I've come here to be me. And if I stopped being me, then the universe would be deprived of me. And if you stopped being you, the universe would be deprived of you. So you have to be as you can be.
Mm-hmm. And yet we are not needed. I mean, it's like it seems to be this fine balance too. Is that our soul? We all. So you're saying we all have a purpose,
but
at the same time, as we're those God living beings, facets of gods on this planet. The ego at some point can get in too and say, oh, I am needed. But not really, it seems. It's paradoxical, isn't it?
Tell me, let me see if I understand you correctly. When you say we're needed, you mean that the people in the planet needs us, like people need you.
Our purpose, each of us needing to find our purpose in life, to help the collective all. But
yes, we are helping the collective by following our purpose. Because if you think of it this way, at our core, let's say if all of us, at our core, at our soul, at our essence, we're pure. But pure what? We're pure love. What else can you be? At your core, because your core, that is your center. That is your God center. That is where we all come from, and that is where we all go. That is the point at which we are all connected. So what can that be? If it is God, if it is our essence, if it is our soul, if it is our core, what else can it be but pure love? And so when you get in touch with that, if your only purpose is to get in touch with that, when you're in touch with that, and that is who you are being, what else can you be but love? And what else can you do?
Yeah, and yet there is in many circumstances, though, and that I think that's part of what we fear also, not having experienced fully the light, is to be all that light, because we have seen around us people that because of really expanding our life and expanding our reach and expanding our power and what have you, then the ego crawls back in, and there is this other false identity that starts emerging, this identification to self, and there seems to be there's nothing to watch for from and be afraid of from what I'm hearing from you, yet it feels like it's something that holds us back from fully unleashing all the light that we have, because we've been brought up in this society that there's something wrong if we do.
That is actually the way that is the way of duality. It's the way that we are in human form. Yes, we all have an ego, and that's just that gives us our individuality. And I think as long as we're expressing through our physical bodies, I don't think that we will escape our egos. So the best thing that we can do is to accept our egos. Mm-hmm. I don't believe in actually trying to overcome our egos, because I think the more we try to suppress our egos, the more our egos will push back. So perhaps the best thing is just to accept that we are ego beings, physical, as long as we're expressing in the physical. Because this is why even while we're in physical life, we're in duality. We all feel separate from each other because we have bodies, physical bodies, we have egos. And this is why people feel separate, and they compete with each other, they feel fear. This is why we even have crimes, and you have criminals, and because people in our physical bodies, we don't necessarily feel all that, the oneness. And so we do, it's just something I guess we have to accept while we're here. Mm-hmm.